Hi, I'm Carroll Swenson-Roberts at Artspace 111 in Fort Worth at my show, Wish You Were Here. I tell stories through my work, and I kind of think that language is not really my first language, that I'm really visual, and talking in linear stories is hard for me. So when I paint, I can put everything in, and you can look where you want to and see the story, how it unfolds for you and for me. That's how I do the pieces. This series of work is I've been working on for the last 30 years. I call it my domestic life series, and it's the small moments that make your whole life, which is a big thing. It's kind of a collage and a painting and a drawing and a sewed piece that I have here called Old Man in the Wilderness. Started out, I made it when my daughter was little, and her favorite quote from Mother Goose was, "The old man in the wilderness asked me how many strawberries grew in the sea, and I answered him as I thought good, as many a herring grew in the wood." And I did that, and I had it in her room. And after a while, she grew up, and I took it down, and I thought, I'm not so sure about that piece, and I actually cut it in pieces and put it in my drawer. And then after my mother died, she was a needle pointer, and I had all of her thread. And so I wanted to do something with the thread, her needlepoint thread. So I started sewing this piece of those pieces all back together, and I made a new piece out of it. But I kind of feel like it's my daughter, and it's myself, and it's my mother. It's very personal, and I loved doing the stitching. My mother always wanted me to, she needle pointed, she tried to show me when I was young, and I had no patience, and I wouldn't do it. And for some reason, it just came out in this piece. And I actually sewed on this piece for about 2 years. I took it back and forth like a needlepoint canvas with me on my travels. And so I'm happy to share that with you today, too. The other pieces in here are mostly about the beach. And the beach is a place I spent a lot of my childhood. And the one in the corner called The Family is about a beach house that we shared in New Jersey. And I have 5 brothers and sisters, and all 6 families. We all own that house together, and we're all there at the same time. And I used I used a detail from Christina's World as the painting, because I always felt like being with my family was a safe kind of bubble to be in, and I kind of always felt that way about Wyatt's painting too. So this piece is called Up the Hill Slowly, and it was one of the new pieces I created just for this show. I worked from the bottom to the top, and I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen with it, which is unusual. I usually have things planned out, but this one I kind of left some water spots, and I put salt on watercolor, and I kind of use that to make the hill. And while I'm doing that, I'm going in every day, and I'm making little tiny strokes and hash marks, and I'm trying to make all the nature parts look as organic as possible. And it actually started at White Rock, but these are from my visits to California that kind of got intermixed. I would look up a hill, and when you focus on the whole hill, you see one thing, but if you start looking at all the different things in it, you see another. And that's kind of what I didn't know how to express that, so I started with kind of an abstract and came back and used the marks. And I also kind of hid some little things in here. There's some little tiny bees, and if you can find a hummingbird, that's good. And that was, I really think that my pieces, I'm making a whole world in my head, and I'm in my studio, and I know what I'm thinking, and I know what I think I see. And when it comes to the gallery, it kind of completes it for me, because I want other people to look at it, either see something that they recognize in their world, or something that they haven't seen and they may start noticing again. Like for me, when I started doing these hill pieces, I could do nothing but look at hills the whole time. And these were about a 3 or 4 month period where I have 3 hills here that I worked on. And so I'm hoping the same thing would happen for the viewer, but at the same time, they need to take away from it whatever they see. And when that happens, I feel like it's a completed piece. It's come out of my head, it's come out of my studio, it's gone into another world, and somebody has seen it, and it's either taken them into their world, or they're finding new things out about their new world. That's the best thing that could come from my art.